Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. I'm going to try something that I didn't do much of during our previous run as Russia, and I'm going to try... I know you can reduce autonomy through a diplomatic play the old way, so I'm going to try something out here. I'm going to try reducing Nicaragua's autonomy the old way. And the reason I'm going to do that is because if Honduras decides to fight, I can take them in a diplomatic play as well, and if New Grenada decides to fight, then I can go ahead and reduce their autonomy as a war goal. And that'll be interesting. And there's not a great chance, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's only 3.5 infamy, so we'll see what they do. Oh, they accepted. Lovely. So they're going to be blue. By the way, I decided not to form my my power block just yet. Forming a power block scares the colonial powers, the great powers. So we're just gonna chill. We're just gonna chill for a bit and not do that. Tuscany are improving relations with us. I would love to be better friends with you, Tuscany. Oop. We have a situation. The Fon people are attempting to secede. So that's Dahomey. Oh, that's going to slow down incorporation, which is a tragedy. I sure wish that was not happening. But it is what it is. Yeah, I think that's all that's going to be, so we'll just kind of let that happen. Mountain sighted. A member of the expedition has suggested we detour to climb a mountain and claim it in the name of the United States of America. One of the expedition members has his eyes locked on the mountain. It's a good risk, my friend, he says. I don't think anyone's climbed this one yet, you see. Imagine how they'd pay us back home for this insignificant rock. Snow slides down the mountainside, melted like threads of gray cotton. Excellent idea, 66% chance it's good. Or we can't spare the time. I'm going to say we can't spare the time to get some free progress here. Because I want to get this done. I want to get this done so that I can get Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. Finish out my lower 48. I've already got Alaska. I can't incorporate because we're still growing as a colony. But we are growing as a colony. I should make sure of that. Yeah, we are. That's going to take forever, so it is what it is. Huh. Footagenon is wary now. Great Britain colonized Mauritania, that's just fine. So I'm hoping if a secession happens, I'll be able to station troops in Togo, because that's kind of right on the edge there. And then we'll be able to do all the things we wish to do. Oh, France has changed color. What's going on with you? Ah, you got Louis Napoleon Bonaparte. Alright, so France is going the historical route, which is fine. Alright, you gonna secede? Nope, not quite yet. One more week. Right on schedule. Fun is seceding. The fun people are seceding right on schedule. And we've got an event. So how much? So you've just got Dahomey. You've got 5 battalions. I'm not super concerned about that. I'm just going to grab the Army of Observation. I think that's going to be more than enough troops to deal with this. I'm going to place them on the border with Togo here. And then we'll be good to go. When the earth opened its mouth. Making their way through the mountains, the expedition finds a dangerous gorge. Their guide advises them to take a longer, more secure route instead of crossing it. At the mauvish beginnings of dawn, the shadows of the mountains become like lilac imprints, carved on the rocks that mimic their own figures as miniatures displayed in a museum. The gorge gets sharper and narrower. The mouth of the earth points directly at us. Some hungers you cannot satiate. Our guide knows better, slight delay. Or, we have no time to waste, 50% chance of peril, 50% chance of minor progress. I'm going to go with the first one. Don't want to risk getting peril. I've risked getting peril before, and it, turned out to kind of be a mistake. So, I'm going to dial it back on that. Wood shortages in American Hausaland, that's just is what it is. American Volta is isolated. Again, can't do anything about that as long as the Civil War is going on. Ooh, excellent. So, is anybody likely to join? Looks like not really. France is likely to potentially join us, but I don't think we really need their help at this stage. Yep, they've got their troops here on the Togolese border. I think Togolese is the right word for that. And we are incorporating this territory, right? We're not. Let's get incorporating. I want to incorporate that. I completely forgot. I didn't realize they've been finished out. Actually, we're also going to incorporate the windward coast, so that we can get started having that area incorporated once the time comes to start taking other territory. Oh, behind bars. The arrest and alleged ill treatment of a disorderly protester affiliated with the movement to enact no colonial affairs has sparked resentment among his compatriots. Further demonstrations have been arranged urging his release. Prison was a miserable place. Bars, stone walls, and cold floors. In the past few weeks, the guards had taken to casually tapping their batons against the bars when they passed by, making sleep impossible. He could not even escape in his dreams, as the tension he felt in the waking world began to bleed into his sleep as well. And all this for pushing a policeman away? He had regretted it at first. Now, though, perhaps he could say that every one of them deserved that and more. Perhaps an early release for good behavior can be arranged. Reduce the movement's radicalism. That's not going to change anything, and angry intelligentsia. Or we will not make exceptions because of some hooligans. You get slightly more radical, but the petite bourgeoisie are happy. I think we got to go with that second one. That's completely fine. Plus 5 radicalism brings radicalism up to 5, so not super worried about that. Susu diplomatic. Huh? Oh. So the Susu nation revolted against us and then subsequently ceased to exist. I don't want to comment on that. That seems to happen a lot in imperialism, and kind of not great, but it is what it is. A stop on the way. With the low temperatures of the mountains, the expedition finds a perfect meadow to take shelter, near the river and far enough away from any other village to not disturb their land. A fort built by previous explorers stands proudly as a haven. So this is why I built the fort earlier in a previous expedition, because you get this event and you get an extra option. It was an unusually cold month when the range of mountains announced their unmerciful judgment before us. As the sun started to set, a glistening light penetrated the canopy of trees, making the shadows tremble and the raindrops cover the brown, almost dead grass. Our expedition was tired, and that tiredness of the soul for home and close to the ocean became much more tangible when the last rays illuminated their swollen faces. So we cannot afford this delay as progress in peril, or we shall stop and rest. We already built a fort here, so this reduces peril and gives us progress. I'm going to go with the second one. Let's get that progress. Yeah, there we go. And now we're at low peril, which is wonderful. Force comparison here is looking really solid. I'm not at all worried about this situation. Britain's going after the Sikh Empire over something. What do you guys want? You want to conquer British... you want to make them a protectorate, and you want to conquer back... British Anglo-Indian Punjab. And there's Fieldworks unlocked. Excellent. Hey, player, let's keep going here. We like having a soundtrack, don't we? There we go. Nice. Oh, a circular expedition. I don't like this one. The expedition to map the West has been traveling in circles. Clarence Stanley can either pick a random direction and push on, or wait for night to fall and use the stars as a guide. I recognized the markings that we'd left on a triangular-shaped rock. We kept walking as I decided not to mention them, but the whispers among the members and their unsettling eyes, I was sure that they also knew. We walked through the branches like autumn leaves, like broken branches. Through the forest, like autumn leaves, like broken branches, like uncared-for stray animals, like those kids in fairy tales sent into the woods by evil stepmothers. A circle is a circle is a circle. So pushing on... Small chance of getting back on track, large chance of getting lost. Or wait for nightfall, minor peril. I'm going to go with minor peril. We're at low peril and we're almost done. So I'm going to go with minor peril. Hopefully that won't be that big of a deal. Comparison's looking a little bit less than ideal. I'm just going to bring in the Army of Florida. It's just 2 more battalions. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I don't even know if they'll get there before the war actually kicks off. But, it'll be nice to have. Alright, so we got our first battle here. And it looks like we are winning. They're doing an aggressive maneuver and we're lost. So, that's pretty... that's the trick to losing your enemies, is to get lost yourself. And then their aggressive maneuver will not help them. Will not avail them. See, I'm actually a tactical genius. It's not that I don't know where I'm going. It's that I do know where I'm going. And It's not that I don't know where I'm going. It's that we're trying to get the enemy not to know where they're going. Whistle-stop tour. Cornelius Vanderbilt intends to travel across Pennsylvania by train to campaign for the Free Trade Party. All I intend to do is present myself to the people. I'm just a simple man trying to get our party's message out by the best means possible. Campaigning by rail is a smart move, 10% momentum, or the fate of the nation depends upon the running of that train, 20% momentum. I don't want to goof up the railways in Pennsylvania, so I think I'm going to go with the second one, but let's take a quick run at the... Oh, no data yet. Oh, interesting. Oh, these are the only parties. Oh, that's very curious. The fate of the nation, blah, 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 blah. Wait, hold up. I need to be more conscientious about this. So, everyone other than the industrialists will join the Free Trade Party will join the Republican Party in the event of a government reform. So, a Republican Party consisting of a large tent of all of these interest groups will not be able to get anything done, I don't think. God, look at all those reformers. That's bananas. I've never seen that. So, I'm gonna give the Free Trade Party some momentum. And we'll see what becomes of this. I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. We're continuing to build up. We're actually nearly at the end of our construction queue here. So let's see. Let's take a quick pass through the infrastructure situation. Let me just make sure I don't have any places that are really low in infrastructure. Let me see. Michigan, DC, Delaware, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Mexico, Utah, California, Alaska, and Hausaland. And this is Mauritania. Oh, and Windward Coast. Alright, yeah, okay, so we're going to build up a significant number of railways next. We got a circular expedition again. I'm going to go with a small amount of peril. Okay, we're at medium peril, but we haven't been delayed. So I'm hoping we can clinch it and get where we need to go within a reasonable time frame. Alright, we got good occupation building up here, which I'm feeling pretty pleased about. There's a peasant revolt in Van Diemen's Land. That's exciting. I hope the peasants... I just hope both sides have fun. Okay. Swollen River. The expedition members come across a river that is bursting at the banks. They can try to raft across, which would be quick but dangerous. Alternatively, they could search for a more suitable place to cross, though this could take some time. A brief landscape captured in the moment that found us. The bold grays, the prospective river trapped in a cage of violence and impetus. These wandering trees carried away, decapitated, sometimes some type of animal, otherwise alone. Onward, 66% chance of safe crossing, or better to be safe, the expedition continues. There's no delay for better to be safe, I'm going to pick that. Don't want to risk any peril at this stage, because we're just continuing onward. Get experience early. An audacious move by William Ingalls saw a crowd publicly divided on a matter close to home, the Free Trade Party's explicit support of child labor. Step right up, kids, and enjoy a day in the sun. That's right, you get 5 bob a day to pick fruit and play in the grass, and you get the time outside your parents are always nagging you about. And you get the time outside that your parents are always nagging you about. Get away from them, get out in the sun, and build those strong muscles and birthing hips you'll need for your own families. Help out old man Jenkins today. As long as they're kept out of the truly dangerous jobs. Or don't listen to them, kids. Off to school. Alright, we should have a momentum bracket here. Let's throw them some more momentum. Again, it's not going to be impacting the election much, because we're going to keep the government set up the way it is. But, ooh, Welsh mass immigration. Excellent. Wonderful. Immigration is very good. As the United States, your economy is basically built out of immigration. Is this one state? Yes, this is one state. So as long as we keep racing here, institutions are looking solid. Snow on the ground. Some members of the expedition have expressed concern that the weather is turning against them. They insist on hunkering down to avoid the worst of it. The layers of snow kept growing like untreated tumors, a huge white, a great white, and the reflection of it making our eyes hurt and sore. If we don't stop now, maybe we won't be able to stop anymore. One of the men shivers as he rubs his arms, lips as pale as our shadow over the snow. He doesn't say a word. Press on, 60-40, or heed their warning, slight delay. I'm going to heed the warning. Again, slight delay is not that big of a deal. We're very near to the end of the expedition. Snow clears. Wonderful. It's a good thing we didn't try to go out in that. It would have been a disaster. Minor progress. And that gets us to the end. So, I think... Hey! Here it goes. The Great Salt Lake. After a long and arduous journey, the expedition has finally come to an end. The expedition has managed to make and map the entirety of the Great Salt Lake. I will always remember our reflection in the water, how the triumphant silhouette of the expedition was painted there like an oil canvas. The colors, all mixed together and somehow so pungent. Faces floated in the lake with unrecognizable features. It was us. It could have been anyone else. Ah, but it was us. Wonderful news. Clarence Stanley is no longer busy. He becomes an explorer, and the United States gets Great Salt Lake mapped for 5 years, which is 20% extra prestige, which is nice. So... we haven't discovered the Oregon Trail yet, so let's just go ahead and throw another, oh my goodness. Let's just go ahead and throw another expedition in here. I'm going to cut these Lancers and then move these to the regular army. Cool, alright. So, I'm going to immediately get another expedition started. So, who do we want to send? We sent Winfield Scott already. I think we sent Thomas Jessup. We sent Clarence Stanley. We'll probably send Alonzo Delano. I don't know if Clarence Stanley does anything. I don't know if having the Explorer trait does anything for you. Transportation shortage in Dahomey. That's fine. Let's go ahead and reset production methods. Are there more states? Oh, right. We need to start incorporating Dahomey again. And I'm going to incorporate these other zones as well. Stupid revolt delaying the incorporation. Alright, and because there's a transit shortage, we'll go ahead and build up a railway here, and we'll throw that in at the top of the other railways to make sure that it gets done in good time. It's going to need expansion in motor industries to do this. I built these up here. We're probably going to throw in 2 more levels, and I'm going to intersperse those between the other, between the railways to make sure that they provide a sufficiency of motors. We'll do another one up here. Do 5, 5, and 4. That should be fine. Alright. Go ahead and get this unpaused here. 28 days till the election. Not sure how this is going to go. Are people coming to Nevada to do the thing that... Pop growth is enormous in Nevada. Really, really huge. So, again, they should be getting in here and... I wonder if I built too many railways. Well, no, right? Well, we're close on infrastructure here. If I cut 1, I'll go down by 15. And that will not be great. So I think I am where I want to be. And there's the election. So. Ooh, gold discovered in Alaska. Do we have a gold rush in Alaska? Looks like no. So, again, oh, excellent. So, all of these, all of those minor interest groups are now marginalized, which means I can mostly get legitimate by building the actual Republican Party as it wants to exist, which is nice. So do I want that? Let me see. What will having the industrialists in the government let me do? I can't improve workers' rights. I can't improve child labor because I don't have human rights discovered. I think I might actually leave it the way it is, because the yeoman farmers are going to oppose it if I try to go to... Well, actually, I can't go to Guaranteed Liberties right now. I'm kind of delaying the whole Home Affairs thing, because I haven't really decided how I want to go. Going to secret police, which I keep having the opportunity to do, is very, very good for maintaining an authoritarian or aggressive state. But going guaranteed liberties makes the people absolutely absurdly loyal. So they're both interesting options. I haven't done a lot of suppressing, partially because I haven't had the authority, but I may be put into situations where I'll have more authority as the time goes on. So, if I bring the yeoman farmers in, we're extremely likely to have parts of the government pressing for interventionism, which I don't necessarily want. I think I'm going to leave it. I think the Free Trade Party, I think a coalition government is better for my current purposes. And keeping all of these groups marginalized is just wonderful. I've been really pleased with how that's gone. So, let's see. What do we want to... the only one is the armed forces, which I would love to have a little stronger. And I could achieve that by building some more barracks. Music to my ears. A well-acclaimed troupe of wandering artists has arrived in Nevada, followed by hundreds of requests about our generous government funding of one of their concerts. Their lyrics, no, you wouldn't understand it. Only the saddest and deepest souls are able to dive into their hearts wide open before us through these piano notes. Their songs talk about solitude, incomprehension, a lack of serene place to retreat to. They truly capture the sorrows of a teenage soul. How would you understand it? Okay, Detective Dubois. Let me see. We can fund them. 10% prestige costs us £5,000 a week for 5 years. Or they sound not so great. Salty intelligentsia. You know what? I'm going to fund them. Give me that prestige. Give me all that prestige. I'm now in rank 4. And I'm closing it. I'll be above rank 3. Oh, I was going to start a new expedition. All right. Let's see who we can send on an expedition. I know just the person for the job. Let's see. I could send Admiral David Farragut. I could send Clarence Stanley again. He succeeded. We'll send Admiral Farragut. I think he'll be just fine. I hope I don't need to fight any naval wars right now, because if I recall correctly, he was one of my really good ones. Oh, psychiatry. Interesting. Reduced bureaucracy cost multiplier never seems to increase my... Oh, it did increase. It increased it by like 50. Well, that's fine. So now postal savings is spreading, and with our research, we're researching baking powder, and then we're going on to dynamite. Dynamite's going to be very important. Particularly here in Nevada, where I'm unsuccessfully trying to mine gold, because I can't get the necessary employees. But hopefully this will reduce mortality. My mine gold in Nevada strategy was... Where are all these employees going? They're not going to the logging camps, surely, because the logging camps aren't selling anything either. Do we have a bunch of peasants here? I can't imagine we do. No, but the population is growing significantly. We'll see. We'll see how things go. Is this interventionist movement? Oh, that's radicalizing almost nobody. I don't need to care about that. I don't need to care about that one bit. An undiscovered plant species. A member of the expedition has asked for a few days to stop and collect samples of a previously unknown plant species. The colorful petals of the plant have certainly never been seen before. A dash of the brightest scarlet, some hints of adventurous azure. Thorns, but only so small that the risk is desirable. Soon the most luxurious salons of the United States of America will be brimming with vases of these flowers. Every woman will wish her lover would bring back some. Fascinating, and certainly lucrative. I could say, of course, 5% prestige, minor progress. Or, what are we, gardeners and progress? I'm going to say, what are we, gardeners? Give me that progress. Yeah, there we go. Let's get this thing knocked out. So, Sokoto, you have part of Hausaland. Hausaland is a territory I'm incorporating. It's your capital, however. So, let's say you and I make a little deal. 18 infamy to take it. I'm currently at 6.0. What I would love to take is Outer Hausaland. How much is taking Outer Hausaland? It's 5.9. So I need to be essentially at 0. I don't want to wait. Yeah, I don't want to just wait. Ooh, I'm not on the border of Futataro. That is not great. But I am on the border of Futajalon. So I can get through here that way. Yeah, I think it's more of a priority to take Outer Hausaland, because that'll let me get into contact with this area. I would love to grab Togo as well, but that's not a priority. Ashanti has a real army. Sokoto also has something of an army. Let's actually lock this in and see if I can see. No, it doesn't show me what types of units. Well, let's look at the barracks and see what the production methods look like. So we got a regular infantry and hussars, irregular infantry and hussars. Yeah, okay. Alright, so Sokoto doesn't really have a meaningful army, at least not one that I would need to worry about. So if I went after Sokoto for just Outer Hausaland, and then I started doing other conquests in here, how would that go? Let's see. Bornu is extremely likely to stand with them. They might accept. Where is Bornu? Bornu is here. How much would it take to turn you... You have a defensive pact with Bagirmi, which doesn't really affect me. How much would it take to make you a protector at 4.5 infamy? I think I might try to do that. I might try to grab Bornu by going through Sokoto. Yeah, I think we might do that. Well, they will be isolated, though. They'll be isolated unless I immediately conquer Gobir. But I could conquer Gobir. I've probably got the infamy. 6.3. Yeah, I could do that. Alright, let's do it. We're going to take Outer Hausaland. We'll see what they say. We'll see what they say. Alright, they said no, which is not shocking to me. I'm going to do the same thing I always do here. When I'm fighting an army that's going to kind of be a real army. I'm going to raise the army of observation, I'm going to raise the army of Florida, and I'm going to mobilize the regular army but not raise the conscripts. And then the conscripts from the army of observation is going to flow into those other two armies, and that shouldn't be a problem. So, I can bring in Great Britain at this time, but I don't necessarily need to. I don't think anyone's going to stand in defense of Sokoto, mostly because nobody can really get there. Bornu might. If Bornu does, then we'll grab a Protectorate CB against them. We're short of artillery. Spain. Spain, how could you do me like this? How could you do me like this? What type of troops have you got? Line infantry and cannon artillery? And you can't get there. Yeah, I'm not worried. But I'm worried enough that I'm going to station the regular army back there, and I'm going to put the army of Florida back here. And hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. Okay. Snow on the ground. You know what I'm going to do. Well, actually 60% chance of a success here. Do I just risk it? No, because if I heed the warning and then it passes, I'll still get progress. So we'll heed the warning. Snow clears. Minor progress. Excellent. I'm just not reading that because we got it before already. And we do have some small armies from Nicaragua coming to help. Which is nice. Oh, Army of Florida isn't on its way over. Army of Florida, come on. Enjoy lovely Africa. Alright, we're going to see what this force comparison looks like. I think even if it starts not super great, it's going to ultimately end up fine because our armies are so much stronger than theirs technologically. So again, they're vastly outnumbered. We're vastly outnumbered by them, but we've got significant advantages in technology. With even that having been said, though, I think I'm going to set these units to defense for now. The full by mass immigration, wonderful. Just while they get mobilized, and while the Army of Florida gets on its way down here. And then once things get easier, we'll see. A new quest. As the expedition advances, the prioritization of tasks increases in importance, and David Farragut has started a log in which he keeps track of what every man must do. Document the new species of plants and flowers. Draw them. Draw the animals. Document them too. One of our men has the hand and talent of an artist, although his difficulties with the anatomy have already been questioned by a few members. Regardless, he's been a great help to this expedition. Most of the others are sent hunting, as our journey leaves behind the mapped villages and roads that others followed before us. It is just us now and the wild. I'm going to find a settlement. Instead of hunting. We've seen hunting a couple of times. Peaceful intentions. A few days after being sent on a reconnaissance mission, members of the expedition came back, announcing that they found a native village, in which the group can find aid. As days come and go, our landscape offers minimal changes. These mountains are sharper, these are older, more eroded. But now the river runs on this side, now it runs on the other, but the chain of circumstances stays the same. Our men came back with great news and announced that another native settlement was found, so we prepared our gifts. Needles and mirrors and medals and ribbons and all the accessories that looked rich and beautiful. We'd already repeated the ritual 100 times, but everyone felt equally important. We needed their help. We should try to barter with them, reduce peril. Expedition slightly delayed, or is there anyone here who can guide us? Minor progress. I'm going to get the minor progress in the second one. I think that's just all advantages. So once we win a few battles over here, particularly now that once we've got the Army of Florida in place, they're going to have suffered quite a few casualties, and I think we can 2 arms. And I think that'll be... Oh. Spain's actually invading. Alright, well, unfortunately, we're going to have to raise the regular army. Oh, you need to be stationed here. And let's pull back the fleet, because I need to have a fleet to hold up this naval invasion. I probably should have anticipated that. They've got a significant army, actually. The Guardia Real. I'm really hoping I can... Okay, units are in place now. Alright, when the earth opened its mouth. Making their way through the mountains, the expedition finds a dangerous gorge. Their native guide suggests a different path where she used to cross with their tribe. At the mauvish beginnings of dawn, the shadows of the mountains became lilac imprints, carvings on the rocks that mimic their own figures as miniatures displayed in a museum. The gorge gets sharper and narrower, the mouth of its earth directly pointed at us. Summer hungers, you cannot satiate. We have no time to waste, or she knows these paths. Oh, because we're traveling with a native guide, the expedition gains progress with no risk, whereas this one is minor progress, risk of peril. So we'll do the second one. She knows these lands. There we go. That's wonderful. So the enemy is going to get here before us, but we've raised the regular army and its conscripts now, so we're truly... I think we can win the battles that we need to win here in this situation, regardless of what happens. It looks like the enemy is pushing forward on us here, which is surprising. I may have underestimated Sokoto. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. Ooh, Western Frontier Expedition completed. Excellent. We are winning the naval invasion battle here, so that's fine. Buenaventura River. After a long and arduous journey, the expedition has finally come to an end. The most interesting discovery of the journey was that the long-fabled Buenaventura River does not actually exist. A disappointment, and a tough one. We revised the maps over and over, checked with the locals, followed the marks, the maps, again. How is it possible for a river to not exist? For it to have so many witnesses and still not be? What did the Franciscan missionaries see then? A lake? Perhaps? Another river? There's a sense of defeat that comes to a man with such a force that makes mountains tremble and the mind shiver. Nothing, the man next to us says, his eyes hurting with impassive decency. We found nothing. A disappointment, but an educated one. 20% prestige. All right. I'm going to not send another expedition since I'm in the middle of a war, although I've got the money for it. I could. I have the ability. Wow, this force comparison is really brutal. How did this happen? How are we losing over here? This is quite rough. So I think the Army of Florida is going to need to throw some more conscripts in there, because I need to get more force in this area. So we'll raise them from the south here. And we'll pull in some artillery. And that should be... I'm hoping that's enough. Let's put another 5 battalions of infantry in here. That's the number we want. Whew, and hopefully that should be enough. Again, we are winning these landing battles here, but it's not. That's not great. I don't rightly know what to make of that. We're also losing in the ocean. Okay, force comparison here is looking... Okay, we do have a winning battle here, so that's excellent. And hopefully getting some more artillery in this situation will help us... Okay, alright, we are winning, because again, being on defense is very, very good in battles. Particularly when you have a technological advantage. So I'm hoping what this will do is this will allow us to develop a positive enough force comparison that we can be able to move forward over here. It's interesting that Bornu didn't step in. But I'm not salty about that, by any stretch of the imagination. Mostly diplomatic play. Oh, that's really, really not convenient right now. Where is that? It's over here. Oh, wow, this could be a real problem. This could be a real problem. Because I'm going to need to send the Army of Florida to deal with that. Unless I create a very small army right now. But I don't... That doesn't seem like the right call by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to keep an eye on this and move the Army of Florida when the time comes. Because I'm noticing there's more troops feeding into the Army of Observation as well. So I want to do as much damage to the enemy army on the Sokoto border as we can before I move the Army of Florida off there to the other front. Because I think there's going to be... Yeah, okay, actually this force comparison is looking really solid. But again, there's no pressure. But just because there's no pressure doesn't mean it's not sensible to get a move on right now. So we'll put these armies on advance. Serbian massive aggression, excellent. And Bulgarian as well. Alright, force comparison is looking solid enough in Hausaland that I think we can go forward. Yeah, we'll get that going. This force comparison is not at all... I'm not at all concerned about that. We are losing the naval battle, but the landing battle seems like a mostly solved affair. And we are acquiring the state that we desire through successful battles here. So I am actually feeling pretty confident. I was not confident for a little while, now I'm confident. That said, it is... Okay, the Atlantic Fleet has been defeated. That said, it is the end of the year. Again, I think we're very much going to win this, but we are way over time for this episode. So that's going to be all for today. Let me see. We had a couple of successful expeditions, which I'm very pleased about. And we are continuing to expand in Africa, and we reduced the autonomy of Nicaragua. So all in all, successful episode. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I'll see you on the other side.